We are following breaking news in downtown Quincy tonight, where one of the most endangered buildings in Illinois is on the verge of extinction. The Newcomb Hotel at the corner of 4th and Main is on fire tonight. That broke out about shortly before 9 o'clock. You can see there firefighters have now upgraded this fire to a 5-alarm blaze as they continue to battle this fire. This is one of the oldest buildings in Quincy. It's also one of the most dangerous. It has been sitting vacant for about 30 years now, and it's not safe for firefighters to go into. So that is one of the problems they're having tonight. WGEM's Leslie Van Ness is on scene at this fire right now. Leslie, bring us up to date on what's happening, how they're battling this blaze.
Well, Matt, this is an active scene right now, and Chief Henning is joining me right now, and I'm going to take the moment that he does have to kind of get us up to speed on where you are right now. Obviously, this is a massive fire.
It is. We're at 5th alarm status right now, simply because the fire started off, it looks like, in the south part of the building. When our crews arrived, the initial crew did actually attempt to make entry because we didn't have fire visible on the northwest portion. They made their way up the stairs. The second arriving company came to the back, found fire in the rear, so we went ahead and we pulled everybody out, went to what we call a defensive fight, which is simply fighting fire from outside. We did escalate to a 5th alarm because, unfortunately, this thing continues to spread and we're probably going to be here all night.
I mean, there's a big risk of collapse here, so where do we stand on that?
Well, this building was one of the buildings we had marked to be concerned about as far as making interior. That's why we're not committing a lot of resources to the interior. We're concerned about the southeast portion of the building right now. We're keeping an eye on that, but should things get bad, we're going to have to shut the power off. Unfortunately, if we shut off the power, we'll probably have to shut the power off to the block.
So there is power to this building still?
There's power lines back there, but if it gets to be a problem, we want to shut the power off to those poles, we may have to shut the power off to the block, but we're not to that point yet.
So any idea how this started?
No idea at this point, couldn't tell you.
And what do you do all night?
We're going to continue to try to keep the fire from spreading. We've been successful so far trying to keep it out of the main part, but it looks like it's breaking through there now. We can't get inside. It's just not safe to do it. So we're probably just going to have to keep the fire contained and prevent it from spreading to other buildings.
Any firefighter injuries?
Not at this point, no.
Okay, Chief, thank you so much.
Is the part where the fire is taken off, is it where the building collapsed in the spring from all the rain? There was a big hole in the side of the building.
Absolutely. Yes, that is exactly where this has kind of taken place. And because that was probably a weak point for that portion of the building, that seems to be going down rather quickly. But also, if you know, here in between these buildings, if you're familiar with downtown Quincy, there's a small parking lot in between the Newcomb and what used to be an old bank here. And the middle section is what's really caught fire in that middle interior. And as Chief Joe Henning told us just at the top of the hour moments ago, they're not going to send anybody inside to fight this fire. It's just too risky. The fire is too big. They're just trying to tackle this from the outside with ladder trucks and as much water as possible. Just right here in front of me, they keep running these more water hoses and trying to hook up to more fire hydrants just to kind of get as much water on this building as possible. But you can see, if Ray can take a look at these flames again, it just doesn't seem to be helping, but they do try to, hit it as hard as they can.
A 5-alarm blaze going on, and in just the last 5 minutes, they've decided to evacuate the Lincoln Douglas building just right at catty corner from the Newcomb Hotel, 4th and Main there. And Leslie Van Ness is live on scene with more on that part of the evacuation.
Matt, I want to introduce you to Roger here, who was just evacuated from his home. He lives in the Lincoln Douglas apartment building. Roger, what have you seen unfold this evening?
Well, I started with the smell and the smoke first. I live on the 6th floor. I looked south, so I started looking for smoke, couldn't see it, and then all of a sudden it was just everywhere. And all night long it's just been blowing, coming at the Lincoln Douglas. So I know there's people in there that have breathing problems, but...
Well, Fire Chief Joe Henning did just evacuate your building, so what is your take on this right now? How much bigger is it from what it was at 9 o'clock?
Well, Actually, I was on that side of the building looking at all the smoke and then came over this direction. I could not believe there were flames that were they were higher than the smokestack is there, And it's been burning like that ever since. They get it down a little bit and then all of a sudden it's back up again. And you can see now we're getting little flecks of fire that are coming over the top of the building. So I don't know about this part of the building, what's going to happen.
Roger, good luck. I hope you have somewhere safe to stay tonight. But I do want to mention that Mayor Kyle Moore is here on scene, and I want to grab him for a quick interview. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us. Talk about kind of the history of this building? It's been vacant for a long time. It's kind of been an issue for the city of Quincy.
Yeah, it's been vacant now for about 28 years, and of course the city was in the process of foreclosing on this building, and we had some structural problems with the 3-story and the 1-story part of the structure. So, this is a historic building for the city of Quincy. It's been a part of our character, part of the gateway to the city of Quincy, and so I think the firefighters are doing a great job right now. 5-alarm fire. Everybody's trying their best to make sure they're maintaining it right now.
Now, this building had been marked with a red X, so to speak, several months ago because it was such a danger to the community. Firefighters are not allowed to go into this structure because it is dangerous. And city planner Chuck Bevelheimer even fell through the ceiling, through the floor, and then through the ceiling of a floor. Was that a year ago?
It was a couple years ago. Okay. So there have been some issues with that. Of course, we always thought we could preserve the building, but right now we're just working to maintain, make sure that the fire is contained.
Mayor Moore, thank you so much for your time.
Leslie, real quick, obviously the mayor mentioned it's a gateway. Anybody who comes in from Missouri off Memorial Bridge into downtown Quincy, you come to the stoplight right by the corner of the Newcomb Hotel to be funneled into town. So people are very familiar with the Newcomb Hotel. What are you seeing from traffic tonight? Is it coming off the bridge? Have they stopped traffic?
Absolutely not. I would say, let's see here, 5th Street down to 3rd is blocked off. They do have police officers blocking the streets. Again, I can't see what's going on behind the Newcomb Hotel, but that would...
Who owns the insurance policy, if there is one, on the Newcomb Hotel? Does the city have that? I know they're in foreclosure proceedings against Victor Horowitz. Is that still in his name? So obviously a lot going on. Very disappointing for the city because just a couple of weeks ago they had a developer from Cedar Rapids express some very legitimate, serious interest in renovating the Newcomb Hotel by the name of France Hobart Community Investors out of Cedar Rapids, an $8 million proposed investment. Turn the first floor into commercial property and then develop apartments upstairs. But as you can see from our Skycam right now, the back half of the Newcomb Hotel is up in flames. I remember 15 years ago, if you're familiar with the Tiramisu restaurant on 3rd Street and there's that big gap right next to it, well, there used to be a building right there and it burned one night, and I remember staying out front and it didn't take long for the wall to collapse as the building just tumbled down. So I'm sure with this age of this building, there's that same concern with firefighters that as it loses structural integrity, it's going to go. WGEM's Leslie Van Ness is there right now, and she has some new information for us. Leslie, what have you found out?
Well, Matt, this fire, as you can see, we've been watching all night, kind of the middle section. We're here between the blocks of 5th and 4th along Main Street, but now this fire has quickly spread to the 4th Street side, directly across from the Gardner-Denver Museum, and that's now become a big concern. WGEM's Jenny Dressler is on scene with me. She's kind of collected some new information. Jenny, what did the police officers tell you?
Well, first of all, Leslie, they have moved everybody back, as you did say earlier, out of the Lincoln Douglas building. They have evacuated that. The biggest problem right now that they're facing is, again, as you mentioned earlier, the wind. That is some of the most dangerous fires that a firefighter can face. And right now they have a fire truck hosing down the Gardner-Denver building. Now, if you can think where that is, that's on the west side of this Newcomb Hotel. They're hosing that down now with water, trying to prevent the fire from going over there because there are massive embers that are going across the street, and there's a ton of debris in the street right now, and firefighters as well as police officers have now been asked to wear protective masks, Leslie, to keep them safe. And even when I was over there, just in the few minutes I was there, your eyes start to water, you can't breathe, you start coughing. This is dangerous. This is a very, very serious fire.
Absolutely, and what Jenny mentioned was you can feel the heat of this building burning tonight. We're across the street and we can feel it here, but even as we're just trying to get information from firefighters and get a little bit closer as we're getting more information, the more you step closer to this building, the hotter it gets. The smoke is just unbelievable. Again, flames are now coming out of the southwest side of the Newcomb Hotel. I know we can't show you right now. We're not allowed to move. But what we can tell you is that now the fire is coming out of the west side of the Newcomb Hotel, and that is now a big concern because, of course, directly across 4th Street is the Gardner Museum, another beautiful historic structure in downtown Quincy.
Yeah, we're basically going to watch it come down tonight. I have a feeling as this fire rapidly moves. We probably have seen the last of this hotel. Many consider it, a historic landmark. It's on the endangered list in Illinois, but others look at it as an eyesore in downtown Quincy. And it is at the point now where it's going to be hard to save, and it's going to go. And right now it's become a defensive fire, and the effort is to save nearby buildings from catching fire. WGEM's Leslie Van Ness has been on scene for the last hour. What can you do? What can you tell us to bring us up to date?
Well, Matt, just moments ago, I spoke with Fire Chief Joe Henning, who told me they are going to have to kill power to part of this block that the Newcomb shares with some other businesses here in Quincy. Now, that means the Elkton and the Patio, for instance, which are just south of the Newcomb Hotel, are going to lose power. The building directly east of the Newcomb is going to lose power. However, Mercantile Bank, which sits on the corner of 5th and Main, and the Quincy Herald-Whig will not lose power. So that was just a few minutes ago. I would say in the next 5 minutes, they're losing power. Actually, the lights just went off in this building across from me, so I believe the power is now killed to the Newcomb Hotel. Also, I was talking to the firefighters about how they're battling this blaze. Now, this building is so massive. You had mentioned, Matt, earlier that it's about a block and a half. The size of this building. It's wide and it's deep. And because of that, it's just been extremely difficult to tackle. This fire is so far inside the core of this building. It's just hard to knock down, and it continues to spread. Now, one firefighter told me that if this building were burning from the bottom up, it would go up in a matter of minutes. But because it continues to spread and it's almost burning from the top down, it's a much longer burn. Now, if you take a look at the top of the roof of this Newcomb, you can see that there is heavy, thick black smoke. Again, it just continues to burn. This has just gotten heavier within the last 3 minutes, and you can see along the side of the alley where we were looking earlier, maybe about a half an hour ago, you don't see those flames shooting out of those windows, but if you can see inside, you can see boards falling and bricks collapsing, and just the interior of this building is burning, and basically all we're going to be left with is maybe a brick shell.
Let me update you on a couple things. Just into the newsroom, Adams County Emergency Management Director John Simon has informed us that 80 residents from the Lincoln Douglas apartment building across the street have been moved to the Quincy Senior Center. So if you have loved ones at the Lincoln Douglas, they are now at the Senior Center, and crews are making another sweep of the apartment building just to make sure everyone got evacuated. The reason they evacuate, of course, the concerns of that smoke. You've been watching it all evening, that thick smoke rolling, sweeping right into the Lincoln Douglas apartment building. We're showing you a couple different angles here. We've been pretty much looking at the sky cam that brings you the northern view, and Leslie's to the north and the east, but I believe what you're seeing here would be on the south side. If I'm giving you the wrong direction, someone will tell me, but we're looking at the south side of the building right now. So this is where they think the fire started, the southeast corner. If you recall, back in the spring, after a heavy rainstorm, a portion of the southeast wall of the building collapsed and left a big gaping hole in the Newcomb. And from what we've been able to see from our earlier video, is that's where the fire seemed to be concentrated early on this evening. Fire has a history with the Newcomb Hotel. I can tell you it was built in the late 1880s after the Quincy House, a nationally known building, was destroyed by fire, so that led to the Newcomb Hotel. And then in 1904, the Newcomb suffered a major fire in which 2 female employees were killed in that fire. So it has a history of fires, but at one time, people who traveled throughout the state of Illinois considered the Newcomb Hotel the finest hotel in the state outside of Chicago. So this has a lot of history to it. When it opened in March 5th, 1889, 600 people were invited to pack that building. There was an inaugural ball held that night because it was the same night that President Benjamin Harrison was inaugurated. So a rich history. There was an attempt to save this. It was named by Landmarks Illinois one of the 10 most endangered historic places in the state just a few months ago. Tonight, it's off the list because it's extinct. The fire will pretty much have destroyed the Newcomb Hotel. So we are tracking this for you. We will keep you updated at WGEM.com throughout the evening, throughout the day tomorrow, and we will continue to follow this. But for now, we're going to bring our coverage to the close. If there are some sudden developments, we will be back with you shortly. But we're going to wrap up our coverage tonight. The Newcomb Hotel, the 125-year-old historic structure in downtown Quincy that the city has been trying for years to renovate. A fire is going to take care of that for them tonight. As you see it burning tonight, the Newcomb Hotel, burning for the last 2 hours, is going up in flames. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned to WGEM.com for the very latest.
Jersey.